Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we are looking at something that's now quite old. It is quite rare and difficult to find. Now very collectible, especially in this mint sealed unopened condition. We are looking at today the 2002 release by Art Asylam from their Minimates series of Star Trek block figures. Now, this was the very first release of the Star Trek block figures, and these are the 3-inch variants as opposed to the standard 2-inch variant figures. As I say, and this particular one we're looking at today is of Mr. Spock, who was portrayed by Leonard Nimoy in the original television series. The original series of Star Trek ran from 1966 to 1969. There was 3 seasons produced with a total of 79 episodes before the series was axed. It did make a brief return in the early 70s. It was Star Trek the Animated Series, where quite a lot of the stars returned to use their voices for the animated series. And then, of course, that was it until 1979, when Star Trek the Motion Picture was produced. And of course, then they went on to do Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Countries. And then, of course, the Star Trek Generations, which bridged the gap between the Next Generation and the original series, and it had some guest appearances by James Doohan, Walter Koenig, and of course William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk. Anyway, let's not digress too much. This is the figure in front of us, and this is the packet it comes in, and you've got the Minimates logo at the top, and it says Art Asylam. Get committed to artasylam.com. You've got a Star Trek logo in nice coloured letters. And at the bottom, it's got Mr. Spock, and it's, if I just lift the card slightly, you can see we've got the warning logo, choking hazard, smallpox, not suitable for children under 3 years old, and it says suggested age 4+, and it's item number 87450. Okay, so that's the front of the card. Let's spin the card around to the back, and let's see what we got printed on the reverse. Okay, so I've turned the card around to the back, and this is what we got on the back. So it's got Star Trek. And the figures in the series, you've got Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Khan, Magato, and the Gorn. And there was also an additional figure that was produced in this series, which was a Comic Con or Toy Fair exclusive, which was Captain Kirk with the Tribbles from the episode The Trouble with Tribbles. And he comes dressed in his green casual attire and comes complete with a quantity of tribbles. Okay, so it says Minimates, and the other figures in their series include Kiss, Dark Angel, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Bruce Lee, Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, Rob Zombie, and Alice Cooper, as well as Star Trek. Just below that, you can see the images of the 6 figures, as previously mentioned. So you've got Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Khan, the Magato, and the Gorn. You've got a barcode on the right-hand side, the CE marking, and 0 to 3 logo. Art Asylam logo, together with the artasylam.com. And at the bottom, you've got all the copyright information and the various logos associated with the series. Okay, so that's the back of the card, and let's now turn the card back round to the front, and let's have a good look at the figure itself. Okay, so I've turned the packet back round, I've zoomed right in on the figure itself, and there you can see the face, which is based on Leonard Nimoy's facial features as he appeared in Star Trek, the original television series, which is mostly okay. The lack of definition on the face with Nimoy, the way his cheekbones are and the way his lines are around his mouth is probably missing, which I think would have defined his face a lot better. Also, I'm not overly impressed with the hair on this particular one, because it looks, if you look at that, it looks just like a pretty much like a skull cap. It just doesn't look as good as it could have done, but otherwise it's still a very nice figure, although the shirt I think is a bit too dark. The shirt that Spock wore in the TV series, and Dr. McCoy come to that, was a lot lighter than what has been produced here. The logo is very good though. Again, it's of the science division, as Spock was. Articulation wise, again, great articulation. The head rotates, obviously. The arms move up and down and side to side. The elbows and the hands all move. The waist, the legs, the knee joints and the feet all move. So there's very good articulation in these block figures, which are very much like the Lego figures, to be perfectly honest with you. But obviously these particular figures we're looking at today, this particular range, are 3-inch figures as opposed to the 2-inch figures which followed. As this was the first release of these figures, I don't quite know why they decided to do these in 3 inches. Yeah, pretty much unsure about that, but they did produce this first series in 3 inches. But every subsequent figure afterwards has been produced in the 2-inch figures, and I think Spock, they produced another 7 or 8 different variants of Spock, but in the 2-inch size rather than these 3 inches. We just confirmed the size. So if I measure from the bottom of Spock to the top, we're looking at there a total of 3 inches. Which translates to 8 centimeters. Am I measuring that right? 8 centimeters? Yes, I am. Across his body, we're looking at 4 centimeters, and depth-wise, we're looking at about 2 centimeters. If we look at the back, just in the background there, you can see Spock's tricorder there. Then you see the strap going around the tricorder and the tricorder bottom there, and there's also a replacement hand in there which gives you the Vulcan salute, the live long and prosper salute, just like that. But that is there in the background, and also you've got the Jigsaw puzzle stand, which if you look at the back of the box, you can see that they're all the figures are on these Jigsaw stands. I suppose they all link together, and they probably stand better on the Jigsaw pieces than they would otherwise. So all of the figures come with those stands. Overall, yeah, not a bad figure. It's a block figure at the end of the day, so the likeness of the character is never going to be fantastic. The best part about these, I think, is the articulation. There's a lot of movement on these figures, and you can pose them quite easily in practically any position, and I believe that you can take them to pieces as well. So there we are, and of course having the extra accessories is quite nice as well. So how well did these figures do back in 2002? Well, from what I can understand, they've done very well, but the quantities produced on this first series were understandably a lot lower than subsequent figures afterwards, and I'm guessing that's because they were testing the waters, even though Art Asylam already had the Star Trek license and they were producing 6 and 8-inch Star Trek figures. But obviously, as they already had the license, it would be silly not to use it, and as they were doing the block figures, it would make perfect sense that they produced a block figure. Why they produced it in 3 inches as opposed to 2 inches, that's questionable, and some reason that I've never been able to get an answer on that. So if anyone does know why, please drop me a line or leave a message and let me know, but I've no idea why they decided to produce these in 3 inches when all the other figures are in the standard 2-inch version. But there we are. So yeah, they've done very well, sold out very quickly, and yeah, are now quite difficult to find. Let's just move forward to 2025. So we're moving on 23 years. Do they appear on the platforms? Well, you do see some of these figures come up on the platforms. Not the 3-inch versions though. You very, very rarely see the 3-inch ones appear. And I don't think I've found any that are still mint in the sealed packets of the 3-inch versions. Found quite a lot of the 2-inch versions, and several different 2-inch versions, all sealed in the packets. But the 3-inch ones appear to be the harder to find. There is a few loose ones on the platforms, which I did manage to find, 3-inch ones. But the sealed 3-inch ones, as this particular one is yeah, very difficult to find. I couldn't find any over the last 18 months on the platform. So not to say they don't come up, but I just personally couldn't find them. However, and also just one other thing to point out again, I know I say it all the time, but if you are ordering on platforms, be careful, because a lot of them use stock photographs, and if you think you're ordering an item like this, you may actually be ordering a used item without the packet, without the accessories, and just the figure itself. So do make sure you click on the used icon if it's there, and read what you are about to order, rather than just place the order and think you're going to get a new item. However, we at Midas Touch, we don't use stock photographs. We use only photographs of the actual items we're selling. So what you see on our website is exactly the item that you will be receiving. And this particular figure is available on our website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you never know how to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful Minimates Mr. Spock block figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.